Josephine and bring you the very latest. But again, John Kerry, who is in Seoul as well, issuing a very strong statement about North Korea and its continued nuclear threats and nuclear ambitions. We'll have more on that story a little later. Right now, we turn our attention to the big story that we have been following very closely in Canada as we continue to gauge reaction to the death of the president. And of course, that reaction continues to build across the country. There's also political reaction. The visitation is this evening. The funeral will take place tomorrow. President was given off life support Sunday following a suicide attempt brought on by months of bullying.
I used to wake up thinking about sex, but now, when I wake up, I just want coffee.
And I'ma let it breathe. It's so easy. It's harder when you're going through it. See, they hate how we've been doing for a night, but see, I'm waiting now. Rappers sound the same, nobody different.
Why do I need coffee in the morning? That's a good question. The truth is, I don't know. I just do. For as long as I can remember, I've always had a cup of coffee every morning, so it's become second nature, I guess.
For me, when I start my day, I'm usually like answering emails already and answering phones or whatever it is, but I find I can't do that to 100% if I'm not drinking coffee. I feel like that's what gives me the energy to start the day, and then once I have my first sip, I'm good to go.
But it used to be just that one cup, and I'll be good for the whole day. Recently, I've been drinking like 2 cups, sometimes even 3 cups on a daily basis. So naturally, I'm beginning to worry about how much coffee I'm drinking.
One day I didn't drink it for a day, and I had a headache, I was cranky, like all the signs of an addict, you know?
Do I just love drinking coffee? Or is it that I can't stop drinking coffee? Because there's a difference. Before jumping into any conclusions, I decided to expand my knowledge on coffee. The story is, coffee was discovered in Ethiopia, East Africa, so I went down to see someone who could tell me more.
The Ethiopian tradition, when you go to somebody's house, to invite you for a coffee is a custom. Like when you go as a guest, we have a good hospitality and generosity. Like when somebody comes to your house, you offer them food, and then if they said okay for the food, fine. If not, coffee is a must. So the lady in the kitchen will be told to start a coffee, and then she will roast the coffee. The guest will get the chance to smell the coffee, so you grab the aroma that enhances your sense, and then she take it back, grind the coffee beans that she was roasting, and then she put it in a clay pot and let it boil, and then she bring it out so it will stay here. Or you can do it in a burner next to you, sitting here chatting. So you'll have a coffee cups arranged like this. Why many coffee cups? Because we are 2, right? Because why too many coffee cups? It is like, it's a very norm to invite your neighbors for a coffee. Like, for example, lady live next door. When I have a guest in my house and I'm making coffee, I will send my kids to tell next neighbor that, come over, coffee is getting ready. So the lady will come and then join me for a coffee ceremony.
I read somewhere the different kinds of coffee in Ethiopia.
Very true.
So there's a blend called, is it Harar?
Harar. There is Harar, there is Yirgach Afed, there is Limu. So it's the name, they get the coffee named after the region that they harvest. So every region, Ethiopia has different regions. So it's every region has its own little bit of climate change. So the coffee tastes a little bit different from one region to another region. Okay. So, and then the size is a little bit different too. This one is the Yerga Cefe, which is a little fine, smaller coffee beans. The harar is a bigger version. I have some harar here roasted already. So even you can see the difference between this and this. See? Big and small.
When you think of coffee from the ground, do you think of it as being brown?
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, it's funny too. I think it's a North American thing, but when you look at commercials about coffee, usually you see them picking up like the coffee beans ready from the ground, and you're like, that's what it looks like. But it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not like that. It's a plant.
Yeah, it's a plant. And apparently from what I've seen and from what I've read, it actually comes on the tree itself. They're like red, they look like red cherries.
Really?
Yeah, so they look like this red cherry, and they pluck them, and apparently the coffee bean is in that. So they have this whole process where, you know, they soak the coffee.
Wow.
Right, and they wash it, and they dry it out in the sun to actually extract the bean. Do you know anything about fair trade coffee?
Mm-hmm. It's funny because there's actually a place in Ottawa called Bridgehead Coffee, and that was the first time I really learned about fair trade coffee. And I don't know a lot about it, but I know the basic concept of fair trade.
Oh, I was managing restaurants, and I was doing some research because we had inherited a design that we're not used to. And when I got there to manage the store, I decided that we should do a coffee ice cream bar. So I started doing research into coffee, and I found out that the coffee farmers were starving. So they weren't actually able to even make enough money to pay for food and send their kids to school. So I decided to do something about it. I thought I could sell more fair trade coffee than I could drink. So I started selling fair trade coffee at the farmers market in the mall where this restaurant was on weekends, and started to build from there. So I started every weekend. I was working at the farmers market, but it was Fridays and Sundays, and I was working throughout the week, GM of a restaurant. So I was spending all my spare time roasting coffee. It was pretty hard on my girlfriend at the time, but now wife.
She's stuck around.
She's patient, yeah, patient, yeah. But I just felt good about helping the farmers, helping their families out. Fair trade, the whole idea is to pay the farmer a fair price for their coffee. And at the time I had no way of actually meeting the farmer, so it was a way for me to make sure that the farmer was getting a fair price for their coffee.
Recently I read an article and it said that coffee is actually good for you. I mean, there's like scientific, backing with coffee beans, because I think I don't know what it does actually. I'd have to look back at it, but I think it helps with like your I don't know if it's heart or your brain or something. It's like a natural stimulant from the coffee beans or something.
You can look at coffee both ways. It has some benefits and it has some drawbacks, but again, everything in moderation. Black coffee by itself has like less than 10 calories. It has the highest amount of antioxidants of any food on the planet. It speeds up your metabolism. It keeps you alert and awake. So too much coffee can make you jittery. A little bit of coffee, mental alertness, concentration, good for athletic performance, helps you increase muscle contractions. On the bad side, too much coffee interferes with the absorption of iron. So if you are anemic or you're supplementing with iron, it blocks the absorption of that. It also increases, it's a diuretic, so it increases urine flow. Sometimes with our urine, we're excreting a lot of minerals. So if there's a calcium issue, you can be excreting too much calcium. And also coffee is acidic. So again, if you're having too much coffee, your body will do what it has to do to alkalize itself, which usually is excreting lots of minerals.
That's what it is.
I know. Isn't that a little sad?
A blankie?
Yeah, that we need to have a coffee in our hands just to,
Probably
feel complete and keep going.
It's a comfort thing. It really is. It's like a teddy bear for adults. You heard it here first.
You're great.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to copyright all my sayings.
You are so good for my coffee worries. If I talk to you all the time, I don't think I'll be worried about coffee.
No. You just come talk to me. I'll convince you otherwise.
I like that. It's like a teddy bear for adults.
Yes.
Your coffee in your hand. You know, I'm gonna keep saying that to myself now. You know?
Because a teddy bear isn't bad for you.
And I'ma let it breathe. It's so easy. It's harder when you're going through it. See, they hate how we've been doing for a night, but see, I'm wait now. Rappers sound the same, nobody different, less drastic. You in the same lane as the rest, expect traffic. Scrutinize my income, take it all and then some. Like an older prince with a done sack, the kingdom. So what I do it for, blatantly pursue it raw. Part of me for artistry and part of me, but who are y'all? It's worse to break, but no harm in me. This album be my best to date, no we harmony. Survival that pays whatever goes in. The Bible says the many are called, but few are chosen. Sleep behind the wheel and people dozing. The last shall be first, but please, it's like I own it.
Say you gotta take your time. Say you gotta free your mind. Say we got a way to go. Say we got a way to go. Way to go. Say you gotta take your time. Say you gotta free your mind. Say we got a way to go. Say we got a way to go.
It's like this though.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
Sorry, yeah, we don't have anyone that really deals with any coffee addictions. You can try the drug and alcohol helpline. Do you want me to give you the number for that?
Okay, you don't have anyone in the whole association who deals with coffee addiction?
No.
Wow, so that means you guys don't get a lot of these calls then?
No, we don't.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't be worrying so much. What do you think?
I am not clinical. I can't really, I don't
Okay.
really have an opinion on that. But I can give you the drug and alcohol helpline.
Okay, and they'll be able to help me?
You can try.
Okay, what's the number?
Okay, it's 1-800.
It's like I'm in a wheelchair. RoboCop trying to get a cut, still here. I was stressed like how bad can bad get? Mad jet, friends bounced on me like a bad check. That get dragnet, cinematic versatile.